So in this video, we are going to break down and show you the latest video about Rudy Giuliani that's trending right now. But before we do that, I want to play a specific clip by what I believe to be insane sociopaths at MSNBC who are literally deranged and sent out a, quote, journalist to stalk and harass Robert Mueller when he was leaving church services on Easter Sunday. The reporter even says, quote, "We tried to be as respectful as possible," is an actual thing that this guy said. And again, there does have to be something said about just the clear derangement of stalking Mueller, waiting for him to leave church and confronting him about Barr's interpretation of alleged obstruction. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Some people are calling it gross, but you could even see by the reporter asking Mueller as he's trying to get in his car, the pure just disdain and acknowledgement of how insane they are. Let's play it, Jason.
Sir, could I ask you a couple of questions? Will you testify before Congress, sir?
No comment.
Are you sure about that, sir? If he were anybody but the president, would Mr. Trump be indicted, sir?
Pause it here. Look at him. He's grimacing. Sir, if it was anybody else but Trump, would you still? Come on, you biased, insane person. We got to play the clip before and after it, Jason. Do we have the clip when he's introducing this clip? Because I can't believe the gall of these people even playing this clip, because it's absolutely nothing. Let's keep playing. Let's play the end of it.
Now that you finished
Sir, why didn't you make a recommendation to Congress one way or the other, sir?
Are you going on vacation?
Did the Attorney General accurately characterize your positions on conspiracy and obstruction, sir? I think it's accurate to characterize Director Mueller today as being tight-lipped in response to my questions. Sure.
He's at church. You stupid, asinine idiot. He's at church. Like, what do you make of this, Jason?
Here's the deal. There's two things for me. One, if it had something to do with reality, I'd care. But as I've said, obstruction of justice is the new Russian collusion. That's the narrative that's going to be pushed by the Rachel Maddow network, MSNBC. They're trying to look like cool ambush journalists. But if you noticed, he has to actually read off a piece of paper. He couldn't remember 3 or 4 questions. And they were pretty simple questions because they're the ones that are parroted again and again and again on MSNBC. If this were asking real questions about maybe Strzok or Lisa Page or their denial of Seth Rich, or, hey, maybe even 9/11, and it was outside of a holiday of Easter on church, I'd have no problem with this. That would be real journalism. However, like you discussed with me privately, there was an individual, we're not going to say who it was, but that you had the opportunity to possibly confront recently, but it was at church. And you're like, man, I don't know if I should do this. And there is a little bit of leeway there. And, you know, depending on what the conflict is. There's no life or death situation going on right now with the Mueller report and no Russian collusion. There is a life and death situation when you look at lying about weapons of mass destruction, which Mueller did. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I can't fault journalists for doing what you've done so successfully in the past and others have done, asking tough questions of our politicians, of representatives of the law in this country. However, in this case, we know what it was. It's setting up this narrative that we must impeach or indict Trump for obstruction of justice. And I just can't get behind it because it's not true.
Yeah. Hey, I know you're at church and trying to get your prayer on, but answer my delusional questions based on the reality of fact that we were caught lying about for the last 3 years, please. Question number 3. Let's go. Come on, dude. Come on. There does have to be something said about just the complete asshattery and delusion when it comes to this greater perspective. I mean, Mueller will be testifying. Obviously, everyone's calling for him to testify. People are expecting this to happen in May, and obviously we're going to get more information on there. But they're just, again, grasping at the straws and just being disingenuous. And I think that's also a similar case, and I hate doing this, and it leaves a very bad taste in my mouth to say this, but I believe they're also kind of doing something similar with Rudolph Giuliani right now. Because, again, I've been a long-time critic of Giuliani, especially when he was mayor of New York City. He pretty much destroyed New York City of every essence of life, fun, private business, destroyed by Rudy Giuliani and his just insane governmental practices. I dislike the man.
Luke,
but,
besides that, he's really the true leader in what would become the gentrification movement of many of the lower income neighborhoods. It was Giuliani, and you could say that one way or the other, but the truth of the matter is he brought in so many police and so many reforms that, for instance, Harlem, that was a largely ethnic area before he came in. I mean, you can't afford to live in Harlem anymore. I mean,
well, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to like all the laws and all the asshatter and just all the laws that he passed that just completely eviscerated any form of life, any form of freedom in this city. Is just crazy. But I can't believe we're defending him now because he's being criticized for saying that there's nothing wrong with taking information from Russia. I mean, do people not realize that the U.S. and Russia share intelligence, especially with this BBC article that showed how Putin got on a phone call and helped allegedly prevent a terrorist attack? That's not on the realm of possibility that there's information sharing and communications. But of course, he's being kind of lambasted and attacked right now on Twitter. He's trending. Should we play the clip? Do you want to introduce it? And do you have any other thoughts on what we were just talking about before?
Yeah, let's play this clip on Giuliani. I'd like to say that I often do not agree with Rudy Giuliani, and I hate when I do agree with him, but everything he says here, talking about, hey, wait a minute, was the information they got correct? I mean, there's so much to go over. I'm actually very much in agreement with the majority of what he says here. We're going to break it down.
Wanted to do. Come on.
What do you mean, the things that
Stop the bull. Stop the bull. Stop this pious act that you weren't trying to dig up dirt on people, putting dirt out on people.
Who, Mitt Romney?
When he was running for president, I ran against him.
Right.
So did John McCain run against him.
But he wasn't accepting information from foreign.
I don't know if he was accepting information from foreigners. Who says that the president accepted information from foreigners? You mean people on his campaign might have done it?
First of all, the Trump Tower meeting, I think, is what he was referring to, the willingness to sit down with Russians offering dirt on Hillary Clinton. That is what Mitt Romney seems to be talking about.
What a hypocrite.
But why is that
any candidate in the whole world, in America, would take information negative
from a foreign source?
Pause it.
From a hostile foreign source?
Pause it here. This what they're talking about, this back channel, according to Robert Mueller, had zero to do with election interference or a quid pro quo on any level. Keep it going, because this is the comment that they're all going to be freaking out about right now, that they are freaking out about right now. This is it right here.
I love how he frames it as a hostile source, as if Russia is a hostile source in this country.
Who says it's even illegal? Who says it's even illegal? And does the information turn out to be false, by the way? The information that was gleaned and disseminated, every newspaper printed it. Why did the Washington Post print the information that came from a foreign source when they knew it was hacked? Aren't they just as wrong for doing that as the campaign wanting to use it?
Why do you think Mitt Romney is a hypocrite if he is
because
saying...
Mitt Romney did things very similar to that.
Taking information
No. There's nothing wrong with taking information from Russians.
There's nothing wrong with taking information.
It depends on where it came from. It depends on where it came from. You're assuming that the giving of information is a campaign contribution. You read the report carefully. Mm-hmm. The report says we can't conclude that because the law is pretty much against that. People get information from this person, that person,
so
this person?
You would have accepted information from Russians against a client, against a candidate if you were running in the presidential election?
I probably wouldn't. I wasn't asked. I would have advised just out of excess of caution.
That I want to say right there. There he's lying. You could see his eyes. He's a lie. I probably would. Yes, you would have. You would have. You may have. I mean, again, there's no scrutiny before this presidential election about Russian interference. If you don't think dirt on other people that campaigned for president and other political office came from Russians and other foreign political entities, you're a little slow. You're not paying attention. Obviously, they glean information from everybody. I think that about does it for the importance of that clip. But again, it makes me sick to have to actually agree with Giuliani.
Yeah, the Fusion GPS, the British intelligence officer, that came from foreign interference that allegedly started all of this, but that's not being talked about here. Again, as I said, according to Robert Mueller himself, all the back channels, all the communications had zero to do with election interfering or a quid pro quo. That's when it should be questioned. That's when it should be put up to legality. And this is why, one of the reasons why Michael Flynn, Obama's former national security advisor, is facing charges, because he acted before Donald Trump was actually sitting in the White House. Donald Trump was elected. Jared Kushner told Michael Flynn to contact Russia so they vote in favor of Israel. Israel decided and asked the United States for a favor. Jared Kushner, Flynn decided yes and tried to persuade Russia to vote in favor of Israel in the United Nations. And that's the charge that brought down Michael Flynn. This is why Michael Flynn is no longer U.S. Secretary of State. This was a whole big conundrum here because it happened before Donald Trump was actually sitting in his office, before he was officially inaugurated. He was elected, but this was in December. And this is why this was, a charge that was there. If there was other stuff like this happening that led to actual actions, interference, or like a bigger quid pro quo, there would have been huge pronouncements. There would have been a huge controversy around this, and there absolutely isn't. And they're taking Trump's, I'm sorry, I can't believe I'm saying this. They're taking Rudolph Giuliani's comments out of context. You listen to all of it, and you listen to the greater context, it makes more sense. And there's absolutely no reason why people should be attacking him. God, I can't believe I said it, Jason. My goodness. Yeah. It's a strange world we're living in when we're defending Giuliani. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, it is a strange world indeed, and that's why we're doing 4 videos a day so we can shine the light on the oddness. Please subscribe over at We Are Change and Pulse Change. Ring that bell so you get the notifications, and get out there and be the change you want to see in the world.